It is the one question we are told not to ask. What came before the Big Bang? For most of the last century, scientists waved it away as meaningless, even forbidden. But that has quietly begun to change. Tonight, we are going to take the question seriously and follow it all the way back, past the birth of the stars, past the birth of atoms, to the very first instant of time, and then dare to ask what, if anything, lies on the other side. First, what we do know. Everything around you, every galaxy, every atom, is flying apart. Rewind that expansion like a film run backward, and everything rushes together. 13.8 billion years ago, the entire observable universe was compressed into something smaller than a single atom, unimaginably hot and dense. Then, in an instant, it began to expand. Not an explosion in space, as the name suggests, but an explosion of space itself, stretching in every direction at once. In the first fraction of a second, the universe grew from smaller than a proton to larger than a galaxy. We call this the Big Bang. From that searing beginning came everything. As the universe cooled, energy froze into matter. Particles formed, then the first simple atoms, then, over hundreds of millions of years, the first stars and galaxies. Every atom in your body was forged in that long aftermath. You are, quite literally, made of Big Bang. So what came before it? For a long time, the standard answer was startling. Nothing came before, because there was no before. According to Einstein's relativity, time is not a fixed backdrop. It is woven together with space, and it too began at the Big Bang. Asking what came before is like asking what lies north of the North Pole. The philosopher Saint Augustine wrestled with a version of this question over 16 centuries ago, asking what God was doing before he made the world. His answer was that time was created along with the universe. Remarkably, that ancient intuition lines up with what modern physics long assumed. There simply was no before. But there is a problem. If we run the clock all the way back to time zero, our equations stop working. Everything, the density, the temperature, the curvature of space, races toward infinity. Physicists call this a singularity. And a singularity is not really an answer. It is a flashing sign that says, our theory has broken down here. The trouble is that the newborn universe was both unthinkably massive and smaller than an atom. To describe it, we would need to combine our theory of the very large, gravity, with our theory of the very small, quantum mechanics. And those two theories so far refuse to work together. The first instant of time hides inside that gap. So the honest truth is this. We do not yet know what came before the Big Bang, or whether the question even has meaning, but that has not stopped some of the finest minds alive from proposing answers, and several of them are breathtaking. Let us walk through the leading ideas, one at a time. Idea 1. There was no before. Time genuinely began at the Big Bang, and that is simply where the story starts. In this view, asking what came earlier is a mistake, like asking what happened before the first moment. The universe did not appear inside time. Time appeared inside the universe. But many physicists find that unsatisfying, so consider idea 2. Our Big Bang was not the beginning of everything, only the beginning of our universe. Perhaps it emerged from a much larger, eternal background, a vast expanse that has always existed and always will. This leads to one of the most astonishing ideas in modern cosmology, eternal inflation. In it, The rapid expansion that started our universe never truly stops. It goes on forever in a larger superspace, constantly spawning new bubble universes, each one its own Big Bang. Ours would be a single bubble among countless others. If that is true, then before our Big Bang, there was simply more of this eternal inflation, endlessly boiling, endlessly giving birth to universes. Some of those other universes might have entirely different laws of physics. Most would be sterile and strange. A precious few, like ours, might be just right for stars, planets, and life. Idea 3 is perhaps the most poetic. The Big Bounce. What if the universe did not begin at all, but rebounds over and over? In this picture, an earlier universe expanded, then slowed, then collapsed back inward under gravity until it reached a tiny dense point and bounced, becoming our Big Bang. In the psychic universe, there was a before, a whole previous cosmos with its own galaxies and its own long history that died so that ours could be born, and ours in turn may one day collapse and bounce again. A universe without beginning or end, breathing in and out forever. Idea 4 comes from the physicist Roger Penrose, and it is stranger still. He suggests that in the unimaginably distant future, when the last stars have died and even black holes have evaporated, the universe will become so empty and featureless that its enormous size will, in effect, reset to look exactly like a Big Bang. In this view, called conformal cyclic cosmology, the end of one universe is smoothly stitched to the beginning of the next. What came before our Big Bang would be the cold, dark, final chapter of a previous cosmos, its ending mistaken by its heirs for a beginning. Idea 5 may be the most humbling of all. What if our entire universe was born inside a black hole? When a giant star collapses, it crushes matter to a singularity, exactly the kind of dense point our universe began from. Perhaps every black hole gives birth to a new universe on the other side. If so, then our Big Bang was the far side of some black hole in a parent universe. And every black hole in our own sky, in turn, may be the seed of a whole new cosmos, complete with its own stars and its own puzzled astronomers, asking exactly the question we are asking now. Idea 6 comes from the strange mathematics of string theory. It pictures our entire universe as a vast membrane, a brain, floating within a higher dimensional space. And that membrane need not be alone. Other brains, other whole universes could be drifting silently alongside our own, unseen and forever untouchable. In this picture, the Big Bang was a collision. Two great membranes drifted together across the higher dimensions and touched, releasing a titanic burst of energy across all of space at once and igniting our universe. What came before was simply two silent brains falling slowly toward one another for perhaps an eternity. And then there is the boldest claim of all, that the universe came from nothing. That the laws of quantum physics allow tiny bubbles of space and time to flicker into existence spontaneously, from a state with no matter, no space, and no time at all. A universe as the ultimate free lunch. But this raises a dizzying question. What exactly is nothing? A true nothing has no space, no time, no particles, and no laws. Yet if the laws of quantum physics were already there to make a universe, then that was not truly nothing. The deeper we dig, the more the ground seems to vanish beneath us. Here is the frustrating, wonderful truth. We may never be able to test what came before the Big Bang directly, because the Big Bang itself may have erased the evidence. That searing beginning could have wiped clean nearly every fingerprint of whatever came before, leaving us to reason in the dark. And yet we are not entirely blind. The oldest light in the universe, the cosmic microwave background, carries faint patterns from the first instance. Some scientists hope that a previous universe, or a collision with a neighboring bubble, might have left a subtle bruise in that ancient glow. We are still searching for it. So which idea is correct? The truth is, we do not know, and anyone who tells you otherwise is guessing. What came before the Big Bang remains one of the deepest open questions in all of science, sitting right at the edge of what human beings can currently understand. But perhaps that is exactly what makes it beautiful. A century ago, we did not even know there had been a Big Bang. Now, we can describe the first second of creation in extraordinary detail, and we are seriously debating what came before it. The horizon of the knowable keeps moving outward. Whatever the answer turns out to be, it means something profound. Either time had an absolute beginning, a first moment with nothing before it, or the universe is part of something far older and grander than we ever imagined, a story with no first page at all. Both possibilities are almost too much for the mind to hold. And you, sitting here, are made of atoms forged in the aftermath of that beginning, arranged into something that can look back across nearly 14 billion years and ask how it all started. Whatever came before the Big Bang, this much is certain. The universe eventually produced a way to wonder about itself. You. Thank you for thinking about the impossible with us tonight. If this left you with more questions than answers, then it did its job. Consider subscribing for more journeys to the edge of what we know. Until next time, keep looking up and stay spaced out.